Ever wish you could, like, hop in a time machine and shadow a titan of industry for a week?
Mm-hmm.
Well, today we're kind of getting close.
Oh.
Yeah, we're diving into the art of the deal
Mm-hmm.
to spend a week with a 1986-era Donald Trump,
Wow.
seeing the world through his eyes long before his political aspirations took shape.
It's fascinating to go straight to the source like this.
Right.
Yeah. Unfiltered by, later interpretations.
Mm.
It's Trump, in his own words,
Yeah.
laying out his deal-making philosophies and giving us a peek behind the curtain of his empire.
And what a whirlwind it is.
Oh, yeah.
This
Yeah.
book throws you right into the eye of the storm. It's a hurricane of meetings, phone calls,
Oh, my gosh.
and a schedule that makes my head spin just reading it.
Oh, I bet.
Apparently, the man averaged somewhere between 50 and 100 phone calls a day.
Wow.
I can't even imagine.
No.
I can barely handle my inbox.
Yeah, right. That's just insane. This constant motion really speaks volumes about his approach, though. Yeah. The briefcase aversion isn't just a quirk. It hints at his reliance on instinct and adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
He's not someone who's bogged down by rigid plans. He thrives on seizing opportunities as they pop up.
Right.
Very much a go-getter.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of seizing opportunities, let's talk about the Woolman Rink story.
Okay.
The city had been fumbling this renovation for years,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
racking up millions in costs with zero progress.
It was ridiculous.
Trump waltzes in, offers to do it for free,
Hmm.
finishes under budget in just 6 months,
Wow.
and even throws a ceremonial concrete pouring for the press.
Oh, he's got to have the cameras there.
The man knows how to put on a show.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. That episode, that perfectly encapsulates his showmanship and his pragmatism.
Mm-hmm.
He's a master of manipulating public perception.
Yeah.
And he isn't afraid to roll up his sleeves, even in that trademark pinstripe suit,
Right.
to get things done.
You get his hands dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the art of the deal goes beyond these flashy anecdotes.
Yeah, it dives into his core principles.
Yeah.
He urges readers to think big, use your leverage, and maximize your options.
And these aren't just catchy sound bites.
No, they're not.
They're recurring themes throughout the book. Take his purchase of Mar-a-Lago, for instance.
Okay.
He snagged this incredible Palm Beach estate for a fraction of its worth by being incredibly patient and waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
He was very strategic.
Oh, yeah.
And he also wasn't shy about driving a hard bargain,
No.
especially when it came to dealing with the city. Remember his negotiations for tax abatements on the Commodore Hotel? He essentially convinced the city to give him tax breaks by framing the deal as mutually beneficial.
Oh, interesting.
He argued that a successful hotel would be a boon for everyone,
Yeah.
boosting the local economy and tax revenues in the long run.
It's fascinating to see how he navigates these complex financial situations. Could you break down tax abatements for us?
Sure.
Why are they such a big deal for developers like Trump? Well, essentially, a tax abatement is a temporary reduction or exemption from property taxes. Cities often grant these as incentives
Okay.
to encourage development,
I see.
particularly in struggling areas.
Right.
For developers, it can significantly reduce upfront costs
Uh-huh.
and boost the profitability of a project.
Yeah.
In Trump's case, securing tax abatements on projects like the Commodore Hotel gave him a significant financial advantage.
I see.
It allowed him to invest more in the project itself,
Right.
ultimately making it more attractive to potential buyers or tenants.
So it's a win-win, at least in theory.
Right.
The city gets a revitalized property and the developer gets a financial boost.
Yeah, exactly. But the art of the deal isn't just about hardball tactics and financial maneuvering.
Right.
Trump also emphasizes the importance of trusting your gut,
Oh, interesting.
even when logic might dictate otherwise.
Yeah.
He recounts walking away from a potentially lucrative oil deal simply because something didn't feel right.
And then there's the story about his friend urging him to invest $50 million in an oil venture. Trump pulled out at the 11th hour based purely on a hunch.
Really?
And guess what? The oil market crashed.
Oh, no.
His friend's investors lost everything.
Wow.
And Trump dodged a bullet.
Talk about trusting your instincts.
Right.
It seems like he approaches business with a poker player's mindset.
Hmm.
knowing when to bluff, when to fold, and when to go all in.
Yeah, exactly.
But beyond the tactics, what kind of personality emerges from these pages?
Right.
What's Trump like as a person, not just a deal maker?
Well, his competitive nature leaps off the page.
Okay.
He even playfully ribs Ivana
Yeah.
about Trump's castle not being the most profitable casino in Atlantic City.
So even in his personal life, it's all about winning.
Well, you know.
I can't help but wonder if they kept score at family game nights. But beyond this competitive streak,
Yeah,
he also reveals a deep loyalty
he does.
to those who deliver, like his longtime lawyer, Gerald Schrager. Yeah, and what's particularly intriguing is his respect for what he calls street smarts.
Hmm.
It's not just about formal education or pedigree for him.
Right.
He values real-world experience
Yeah.
and the ability to read people and situations accurately.
Interesting.
He even shares an anecdote about learning a crucial lesson from a former concentration camp prisoner
Wow.
who advised him to sell a property
Hmm.
because the neighborhood was deteriorating.
It's striking that he'd find wisdom in such an unexpected source.
Right.
Someone who'd seen the world from such a drastically different perspective.
Yeah.
He wasn't just listening to high-powered consultants. He was valuing the insight of someone who understood survival on a visceral level.
Absolutely.
And, of course, let's not forget his willingness to challenge authority, a
Right.
trait that seems to stretch back to his childhood. He even mentions punching his music teacher in the 2nd grade.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah. And his decision to fight the government's discrimination lawsuit speaks volumes about his character.
Most businessmen would have settled to avoid bad press.
Right.
But Trump, with his lawyer, Roy Cohn, by his side, chose to battle it out in court.
Speaking of Roy Cohn, now that's a character who deserves his own deep dive. But from what we see in The Art of the Deal, his unwavering loyalty and fighting spirit clearly made an impact on Trump.
Oh, absolutely. Cohn was a controversial figure,
Yeah.
but his tenacity and willingness to push back against any opposition clearly resonated with Trump.
So we're seeing this fascinating blend of ambition, pragmatism, a touch of ruthlessness,
Yeah.
and a surprising respect for those who faced adversity.
Hmm.
What about his values, particularly his views on money?
He's incredibly upfront about seeing money as a way to keep score.
Right.
A metric of success in the high-stakes game he plays.
Yeah.
But it's not just about hoarding wealth.
Yeah.
It's about the thrill of the deal, the challenge of winning,
Right.
and as he puts it, having fun in the process.
He also stresses the importance of quality,
Yes, he does.
even when it means digging deeper into his pockets. For example, during the Trump Tower project, he clashed with his partners at Equitable Life who wanted to cut corners to save money.
Yeah.
Trump held firm, arguing that maintaining high standards was crucial to the building's success and its long-term value.
And history proved him right.
Yeah.
Trump Tower became an icon of luxury and exclusivity,
Yeah.
attracting a who's who of celebrities, business moguls,
Right.
and even royalty. Well, maybe not actual royalty,
Okay.
but rumors swirled about Prince Charles being interested in an apartment.
All right, let's shift gears a bit and talk about relationships. The Art of the Deal offers glimpses into some of the key figures in his life, starting with his father, Fred Trump.
Their relationship is undeniably complex,
Okay.
marked by both admiration and a degree of friction.
I see.
Fred was a successful real estate developer himself, a tough, demanding figure who instilled a strong work ethic in his son.
Right.
Donald clearly learned a great deal from him, but also forged his own path,
Right.
sometimes going against his father's advice.
It's interesting how he contrasts his close relationship with his brother Robert with the challenges his older brother, Freddie, faced in the family business.
Right. What's fascinating here is how he portrays Freddie as almost too nice, too gentle for the ruthlessness of the real estate world.
Yeah.
It underscores Trump's belief that to thrive in this environment, you need a certain level of aggression, a willingness to fight for every inch.
It seems he deeply admires those who can navigate this cutthroat world, who can withstand pressure and go after what they want.
Yeah. But it's not just about winning at all costs.
Right.
He also talks about building trust,
Okay.
finding partners you can rely on,
Right.
even if they occasionally drive you crazy.
Yeah.
His partnership with Roy Cohn is a perfect example. He acknowledges Cohn's flaws, but values his unwavering loyalty and willingness to go to battle for him no matter the odds. He even admits to having a grudging respect for some of his adversaries, like the head of the Tenants Association at 100 Central Park South, a building he was trying to acquire. He saw this man who was fiercely resisting him as someone simply protecting his interests.
Right.
Just as Trump himself was doing.
It's a surprisingly empathetic perspective.
Yeah.
Given his reputation for being combative.
Right.
But it speaks to his ability to see things from multiple angles.
Right.
Okay, last question before we wrap up part 1.
Okay.
What about Trump's early life?
Right.
Those formative experiences that shaped the businessman we see in The Art of the Deal.
He talks about attending New York Military Academy, where he learned discipline and how to channel his energy into achievement.
Interesting.
He also recalls observing his father's real estate dealings,
Uh-huh.
absorbing valuable lessons about negotiation and deal-making from a young age.
And then there's the Swifton Village project.
Yep.
His first solo venture. He bought this apartment complex in Cincinnati while still in college.
Wow.
And even though he eventually sold it, he gained invaluable experience in management, dealing with contractors, and, well, let's just say, the importance of thoroughly vetting your employees.
Right. That early experience seems to have solidified his faith in his instincts, his appetite for risk,
Yeah.
and perhaps most importantly, his understanding of the power of a good story. Remember the anecdote about his colorful building manager, Irving?
Oh, yeah, Irving.
He's a character straight out of Central Casting.
That story alone could be a movie.
Exactly. And that's what makes The Art of the Deal such a captivating read.
Yeah.
It's not just a dry business manual.
Yeah.
It's a story about a larger-than-life personality making his mark on the world one deal at a time.
Right.
And it's that knack for storytelling, for crafting a compelling narrative that really sets him apart. He understands that in the realm of high-stakes real estate, perception is often reality. It's not enough to simply construct a great building.
Yeah.
You have to convince people that it's the most sought after, the most exclusive,
Right.
the absolute must-have address in town.
And Trump is a master at generating that buzz.
He is.
He isn't shy about putting his name in giant letters on everything he builds.
Yeah.
But it's not just ego at play. It's a shrewd understanding of branding.
Absolutely.
In a crowded market, you need to stand out. Create an image that people recognize and aspire to.
He's almost creating a myth, a persona that transcends the physical structures themselves.
And it works.
It does.
People are drawn to the Trump brand, to the image of success and luxury it embodies.
This raises an interesting question. How much of his success can be attributed to this meticulously crafted image versus his actual business acumen? Is it sizzle or steak? Or a perfectly cooked combination of both?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's difficult to separate the two.
Absolutely. But what we can say is that Trump understands the power of both.
Right.
He's not just a brilliant deal maker. He's a master of marketing, of crafting an aura of success that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Now let's zoom out a bit and consider the broader context.
Yeah.
We're talking about New York City in the 1970s and 80s. A time of significant economic upheaval, social change, and a great deal of uncertainty.
It was a city teetering on the edge, facing a fiscal crisis,
Yeah.
crumbling infrastructure,
Right.
and rising crime rates.
Many were fleeing to the suburbs.
Yeah.
Investors were wary. It was a risky time to be betting on New York.
It was. But that's precisely where Trump saw opportunity.
Oh, interesting.
He swooped in, acquiring properties at bargain prices, betting on the city's resilience and its ability to bounce back.
And what's remarkable is that he often went against conventional wisdom. Take, for example, his decision to build Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue,
Okay.
right in the heart of Manhattan's luxury retail district.
That's a bold move.
It was.
At the time, people thought he was crazy. No one believed that people would want to live above stores, especially on such a busy, noisy street.
Right.
But Trump had a vision. He saw the potential of creating a mixed-use development, combining luxury residences with high-end retail.
Yeah.
A concept that was relatively new at the time.
He also understood the unparalleled importance of location.
He did.
Fifth Avenue was and still is one of the most prestigious addresses in the world.
Absolutely.
By constructing Trump Tower there, he was not only making a statement about his own ambition, he was signaling a belief in the future of the city itself.
It was a gamble that paid off handsomely.
It really did.
Trump Tower became a global icon,
Yeah.
a symbol of New York's resurgence,
Yeah.
and of course, a massive financial victory for Trump.
It's a testament to his ability to not only identify opportunities, but also to execute them, to transform a bold vision into a tangible reality.
Yes, absolutely.
And speaking of bold visions, let's talk about his unexpected venture into the world of professional football.
Oh, yeah. This is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
In the early 1980s, he purchased the New Jersey Generals, a team in the upstart United States Football League, better known as the USFL.
The USFL was attempting to compete with the established National Football League, the NFL.
Right.
And Trump, in classic Trump fashion, saw it as an opportunity to shake things up.
Of course he did.
He immediately started signing big-name players, offering salaries that dwarfed those in the NFL.
Wow.
He even tried to convince the league to move its season to the fall, to go head-to-head with the NFL.
Oh, wow. It was a classic Trump move. Think big, be aggressive, and don't be afraid to challenge the established order.
He was playing a high-stakes game.
He was.
And while the USFL ultimately folded, some argued that his involvement forced the NFL to raise salaries and expand its reach.
It's like he was a disruptor, a catalyst for change in an industry that had become complacent.
And that, perhaps, is one of the most consistent threads throughout Trump's career. A willingness to push boundaries, to challenge assumptions, and to do things his way, regardless of the potential consequences.
Absolutely.
He's never been one to shy away from a fight,
Nope.
whether it's in the courtroom, the boardroom, or even on the football field.
That brings us back to the art of the deal and the question of its legacy.
Yeah.
How should we view this book, written over 3 decades ago, in light of Trump's subsequent career in both business and politics?
That's a great question.
It's a question that has sparked endless debate,
Right.
and there are no simple answers. Some see it as a blueprint for success, a guide to achieving your goals through sheer force of will and determination.
Others view it as a cautionary tale, a glimpse into a mindset that prioritizes winning above all else, even if it means bending the rules or taking advantage of others.
And then there are those who see it as a work of pure fiction, a carefully constructed narrative designed to elevate the Trump brand regardless of the truth.
It's certainly a book that invites multiple interpretations.
Whatever your perspective, there's no denying that The Art of the Deal offers a fascinating glimpse into the mind of a man who would become one of the most powerful and polarizing figures in modern history.
It's a book that continues to resonate,
It does.
to provoke discussion,
Absolutely.
and to offer insights, both positive and negative, into the nature of ambition, success, and the American dream.
And as we delve deeper into the cultural context surrounding The Art of the Deal, it's important to remember that this book wasn't just a personal memoir.
Right.
It captured a specific moment in American culture, reflecting the zeitgeist of the 1980s.
You're right. The 1980s were all about excess, ambition, and the relentless pursuit of wealth. Trump, with his flamboyant personality and his extravagant projects, became an icon of that era.
He embodied the greed is good ethos that permeated Wall Street and
Yeah.
popular culture. The Art of the Deal became a sort of Bible for aspiring entrepreneurs,
Right.
a guide to navigating a cutthroat world and achieving phenomenal success.
But it's worth noting that while the book celebrates ambition and deal-making prowess, it doesn't shy away from the less flattering aspects of Trump's personality.
He's remarkably candid about his willingness to use manipulation, intimidation, and even deception to achieve his goals. He even coined the phrase truthful hyperbole,
Right.
a term that has since become synonymous with his approach to communication.
It's like he's acknowledging that in the world of high-stakes negotiations, a certain amount of gamesmanship is involved, a willingness to bend the truth,
Right.
or at least present it in a way that benefits you.
Mm.
Do you think that crosses a line?
That's a good question.
When does aggressive negotiation become unethical behavior?
That's a question that has followed Trump throughout his career, and one that each reader,
Yeah.
or listener in this case,
Right.
has to grapple with for themselves. It's a question with no easy answers.
Right.
A gray area where personal ethics and ambition collide.
Certainly a topic that continues to fuel debate.
But beyond the ethical implications, what's perhaps most striking about The Art of the Deal is its enduring relevance.
Yeah.
Even though it was written over 3 decades ago,
Right.
the themes it explores, ambition, risk-taking, the pursuit of success,
Yeah.
the power of branding,
Right.
are still incredibly relevant today, perhaps even more so in our hyper-competitive, media-saturated world.
It's fascinating how a book written in a very specific time and place can still resonate with people today.
And while the specific deals and projects detailed in the book might seem like relics of a bygone era, the underlying principles Trump champions.
Yeah.
Thinking big, using leverage, maximizing options, being persistent,
Right.
continue to be studied and debated by business leaders and entrepreneurs across the globe.
It's a book that has sparked countless conversations.
It has.
Inspired some, repelled others,
Yeah.
but has undoubtedly left an indelible mark on American culture.
And as we wrap up our deep dive into The Art of the Deal, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
It's not simply a book about real estate. It's a reflection of a particular mindset,
Okay.
a way of approaching the world that values boldness, self-promotion, and an unrelenting pursuit of victory.
It's a mindset that has brought Trump both incredible success
Right.
and its fair share of controversy.
Absolutely.
A mindset that continues to shape his actions and decisions to this day.
So the question for you is this. How much of Trump's later career in both business and politics can be traced back to the principles and the personality revealed in The Art of the Deal?
It's a question worth pondering,
It is.
and one that perhaps provides a key to understanding not only Donald Trump as an individual, but also the forces that have shaped American society over the past few decades.
And with that, we'll leave you to continue your exploration of this complex and intriguing figure. It's amazing how much ground we've covered already.
I know, right?
From the whirlwind daily routine to
Yeah.
the high-stakes deals. And now we're zooming out to see how the art of the deal fits into the bigger picture
Right.
of American culture.
It's crucial to view the book within its historical context.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just a personal story.
Right.
It became a cultural touchstone,
It really did.
a snapshot
Yeah.
of a very specific moment in American history.
A time capsule almost.
Talking about the go-go 80s,
Oh, yeah.
a time of Wall Street excess,
Mhm.
shoulder pads,
Big hair.
and a booming economy that seemed to reward those bold enough to grab for it.
And Trump,
Yeah.
with his larger-than-life personality
Right.
and his knack for spectacle,
Mhm.
perfectly embodied that era.
He did.
He wasn't just a successful businessman.
Right.
He became a symbol of an
Yeah.
entire generation's aspirations.
It's interesting, though,
Yeah.
that even while The Art of the Deal glorifies ambition and deal-making, it doesn't shy away from some of the potentially less admirable
Right.
aspects of Trump's approach.
He's surprisingly open about his willingness to use every tool at his disposal,
Yeah.
manipulation or a bit of deception,
Right.
to get what he wants.
To get ahead.
He even famously coined the phrase truthful hyperbole,
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
which has become a kind of shorthand for his unique communication style.
It raises a question that has followed him throughout his career.
It does.
Where's the line between shrewd negotiation
Right.
and unethical behavior?
Hmm.
Is there a point where the ends no longer justify the means?
That's the debate that continues to swirl around him, isn't it?
It seems to be,
And it's a question each reader,
or in our case, listener,
right,
has to wrestle with individually.
absolutely.
The Art of the Deal doesn't offer easy answers.
No, it doesn't.
It simply presents Trump's perspective
Right.
and lets the audience decide how they feel about it.
I think that's a fair assessment.
It's certainly food for thought.
Yeah, it is.
But even beyond the ethical questions, what strikes me is how relevant this book remains today.
Oh, absolutely.
It's almost 40 years old.
I know.
But the core themes
Yeah.
of ambition,
Uh-huh.
risk-taking branding, and the pursuit of success
Right.
still resonate in our current world.
They do.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
It is.
The specific deals and projects described in the book
Mm.
might seem like relics of the past,
All right.
but the underlying principles Trump lays out,
Mm-hmm.
thinking big,
Yeah.
maximizing your leverage,
Uh-huh.
being persistent,
Right.
are still studied by business leaders
Mm.
and entrepreneurs all over the world.
It's a testament
Yeah.
to how certain fundamental principles
Right.
of business and human nature
Yeah,
remain timeless.
it's true.
The art of the deal has become a part of the cultural lexicon,
It has.
sparking countless conversations,
Yeah.
inspiring some,
Right.
repelling others,
Right.
but undeniably leaving its mark.
It
It's
has.
not just a how-to guide for real estate.
Right.
It's a window into a particular way of thinking,
Mm.
a way of approaching the world that prizes boldness,
Yeah.
self-belief,
Mm-hmm.
and a relentless drive to come out on top.
And whether you admire that approach or
Mm.
find it problematic,
Yeah.
it's impossible to deny its impact.
I agree.
Trump's story,
Hmm.
as laid out in The Art of the Deal,
Right.
offers a glimpse into the forces that have shaped
Yeah.
not just his career,
Uh-huh.
but American culture itself
Absolutely.
over the past several decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Mm.
I'd encourage you to keep exploring.
Okay.
The Art of the Deal is just one chapter in a much larger story.
Right.
And it's a story that's still being written.
So we've talked about Trump's personality, his tactics, the cultural landscape of the 80s.
Hmm.
But how does The Art of the Deal hold up today?
That's a good question.
Is it still relevant in the 21st century?
Well, some argue that the business world has changed drastically
Well,
since the book was published.
Yeah, the rise of the internet,
Hmm.
social media,
The global marketplace.
it's a whole different ballgame.
But others say that the fundamental principles
Yeah.
that Trump lays out
Hmm.
are timeless. The importance of thinking big,
Right.
using your leverage, being persistent,
Yeah, those do seem pretty universal.
and the book's emphasis on branding,
Yeah.
that's more relevant than ever.
In today's image-conscious world.
Absolutely.
So maybe The Art of the Deal isn't so much a step-by-step guide as it is a study of a certain mindset,
Right.
a way of approaching challenges, and seizing opportunity,
A mindset that can be applied to various fields.
not just real estate.
Exactly.
But it's important to note
Yeah.
that not everyone embraces this mindset.
Of course.
Some find Trump's approach to be overly aggressive
Yeah.
or even unethical.
And those criticisms,
Yeah,
they haven't gone away.
they haven't.
In fact,
Yeah.
they've only intensified.
Height of his later career.
Right.
So The Art of the Deal remains a controversial book.
It does.
It sparks debate.
Yeah.
It challenges our assumptions
That's absolutely.
about success,
Absolutely.
about
And
ambition.
about the American dream itself.
The Art of the Deal.
Mm,
It's more than just a business book.
it is.
It's a cultural artifact,
Yeah.
a reflection of a specific time and place, but also a text that continues to resonate and provoke discussion.
Decades later.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I hope you'll continue to explore the complexities
Yeah.
and contradictions
Yeah.
of Donald Trump.
And of the art of the deal itself.
It's a journey worth taking,
Absolutely.
and one that might just offer some insights into our own ambitions
Yeah.
and values.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time.